Part 2 of our East Coast trip takes us through New York and Massachusetts, with a stop here at the scenic Ford Hill Country Club, where our illegal fivesome saw one of the rarest shots ever in golf.
He's got about 195 yards left, and looks like he's got about an 8 iron. This crowd has gone deathly silent. Cinderella story, out of nowhere.
Get up there we go.
It looks like I'm a wreck. It's in the hole! It's in the hole!
Pulling out of Shenango, it's Jim and Ann Grieve with that brand new support for the kayaks on the back. They decide they're not going to wait in this line. We're in a line to dump. Whoops, let's pull back. And the barbers are dumping right now. On second thought, I think we're going to wait until the next campground to dump our tanks. Anyway, as we drive through New York and Massachusetts, Eve, our SOL partner on the road, had a couple of flat tires. So we stopped to help him out.
Sometimes when you're driving, you're going to notice that you got a flat tire. Maybe somebody hates you and they took a knife and stabbed your tire. When you get a flat tire, you gotta get it fixed.
So we did get it fixed, and we were back on the road again. Only problem is, not too further down the road, we got a flat on our camper, and Eve had to come to our rescue.
You gotta get it fixed. You're not gonna get anywhere with a flat tire.
And so, with a new tire in place, we entered Massachusetts. And for 2 hours, everything was going smooth, but we did not have a spare. And we would be picking one up in the next day or two, when lo and behold, flat number 2.
Car even more if you try to continue driving. So just pull over and call for help. You better have a good old spare tire handy, and then use a jack to lift your car up, and then use some tools to take your flat tire off and put the spare tire on.
Just wanted to say thank you live on video.
No problem, sir.
This is the man that saved us on the Massachusetts Turnpike. That's
yes,
hard
sir.
to say.
I know, right?
This is Paul. He took good care of us. Thank you, Paul.
No problem, sir.
Bless you.
Have a great trip.
Thank you. And behind me, you just met Paul. Behind me is the Blandford Plaza along the Massachusetts Turnpike. And we had our flat tire just before the driveway for this plaza. Who'd have thunk it? But we've been on hold here for about 4 or 5 hours. Pretty crazy.
After our major delay searching hours for the right camper tire near Westfield, Massachusetts, we have finally arrived at the Atlantic Ocean. But before we go any further, there's an historic home that I must see.
Well, here we are in Fall River, Massachusetts. And what are we looking at behind us, Andy, too?
We're looking at the Lizzie Borden house.
And when you go in, make sure you ask a lot of questions.
Please spare me.
I hope it's haunted.
I'm gonna look for the X because I never did find it.
Because I'm not going in.
You and Eve are gonna go find a place and say a little prayer that we don't come out more possessed than we went in.
We're going to go get some holy water.
There you go.
That the power of Christ compels you! The power of Christ compels you!
And in Fall River, Massachusetts, we have a place called Battleship Cove. And one of the big battleships of World War II sits here. It's the USS Massachusetts. And while Andy 2 explores the Lizzie Borden home, we're going to explore this once great United States battleship. The USS Massachusetts, shown here during World War II, was known as Big Mammy to her crew members. And it was one of 2 ships of her class, along with her sister the Alabama, to be donated for use as a museum ship. And here in this museum is known as Battleship Cove. Massachusetts has the unique distinction of having fired the U.S. Navy's first and last 406mm shells of the war. During World War II, Massachusetts was initially assigned to duty in the Atlantic Fleet, during which she successfully crippled the French battleship Jean Bart in a gun duel during Operation Torch. She was transferred to the Pacific Fleet in 1943 and participated in the Solomon Island campaign as well as the Philippine campaign. The Massachusetts was involved with routine operations after the war, but eventually was reassigned to the Atlantic Fleet and decommissioned in 1947. In an effort to spare the battleship from scrapping, citizens of Massachusetts pooled resources to raise money for her transfer to the Massachusetts Memorial Committee. And in 1965, the Navy formally donated the battleship to the committee. And now let's check in on Andy 2.
The Lizzie Borden House, located at 92 2nd Street in Fall River, Massachusetts, was the site of the gruesome murders of Lizzie's stepmom, Abby Borden, and her father, Andrew Borden. The only possible suspect ever brought to trial was Lizzie Borden. Join me now as I walk you through the home and the murders with the photos I took inside. These steps lead up to the 2nd floor where the bedrooms were. It was here Abby Borden was discovered murdered, lying face down between the bed and the dresser. Looking under the bed from the 7th step, you can see her body. It was first believed that she had fainted. Because of the blood splatter, investigators believe her attacker was left-handed. She was hit 17 times in the head by a hatchet. Here's the room when you walk into through the front door. You come into the Lizzie Borden house, and through this door right here at the top of the page you can see a replica couch. Here it is right here, the replica couch where Andrew was found murdered. He was found slumped over on the couch in the sitting room. Andrew was struck 10 to 11 times with a hatchet-like weapon. It's believed he was asleep when he was killed. Lizzie actually found her father and screamed to the maid, "Maggie, come quick, father's dead. Somebody came in and killed him." And here's another picture of him. This is actual crime scene photos. Never before in the United States had there been crime scene photos. These are the first. Actually, these are the 2nd set of crime scene investigation photos ever taken in the world. Do you know who the first was? The first was Jack the Ripper. Lizzie's trial was a jury trial. The jurors were all men. Lizzie was actually acquitted by the jury because no one could believe any woman would have the strength or to be able to do such a hideous crime. This is a picture of the dining room where they did the autopsies on the Bordens. This is an autopsy board. Not the exact one, but a replica of the board. Here are some pieces of pottery that are believed to have belonged to the Bordens. They were found in the bottom of an outhouse. During the Borden era, if you couldn't burn your garbage, then you threw it in the outhouse. Elizabeth Montgomery starred in the lead role of The Lizzie Borden Story. This is the actual dress she wore in the movie. A couple of years after the movie, Elizabeth Montgomery discovered she was actually related to the Borden family. Here are a few more pictures that I took in the Lizzie Borden home. Today, the Lizzie Borden house is an actual bed and breakfast. That's right, you can come here and stay, spend the night, and sleep in any one of the bedrooms. You can actually sleep in the bedroom that Abby Borden was found in, murdered. You can sleep in Lizzie's room, or her sister Emma's, or upstairs in the maid quarters. Our guide told us that yes, this house is haunted. Is it? She said many things have happened to her herself. If you decide to stay at the bed and breakfast, a guide will stay with you in the house until 11 p.m. Then it's just you and other fellow guests, and some say the ghosts of Andrew and Abby.
Well, I've been waiting. Tell me,
I'll tell you what,
what'd you see in there?
a lot of cool stuff.
A lot of cool stuff?
It took a lot of pictures. Lots of neat stuff.
Did you see anything?
No.
Did you hear anything?
No.
Did you feel a hand?
No. It was pretty cool though. It was cool. It's a beautiful home. It's just the way they built it. It's just amazing. And the story itself is
Great
good.
story?
Yeah, it's a great story. Good folklore there.
And thus concludes part 2 of our East Coast trip, which took us from New York into Massachusetts and to historic Fall River. Thank you all for tagging along. And if you're new to the Jimmy Lou and Andy 2 vlog, please hit that subscribe button. And also, ring the bell, because that will alert you when new episodes have been posted. And how about a thumbs up? Those are always nice. Once again, thank you, and we'll see you soon.